Is your student considering transferring colleges? Maybe they decided that the one that they chose is just not the right fit. Or maybe they see the amount of student debt that they're racking up and they decided maybe a more affordable option would be a better decision. No matter what the reason is, transferring can be extremely beneficial and it is completely okay for students to do. In fact, transferring colleges sometimes can open up scholarship opportunities for students. So that's what I want to focus on today. Are there scholarship dollars out there for transfer students, and is this the right type of money we want to search for? Now make sure you hit subscribe, because transfer or not, every single week, we're releasing a new strategy on how to work towards a debt-free degree, so you do not want to miss those. Hey there, my name is Jocelyn Pearson, founder of the Scholarship System, where we redefine paying for college so that families can focus on a strong financial future rather than one that's buried in debt. In fact, we've helped families secure nearly $10 million in scholarships at the time of recording this video, and we do not plan to stop anytime soon. Now, figuring out how to pay for college when it comes to transferring might feel a little overwhelming for you and your student. However, there are plenty of options when it comes to scholarships as well as financial aid, even if you have a student that is transferring colleges. Now, first, let's define what a transfer student is. So this is a student who has prior college experience at another school at the collegiate level with one school and is planning on attending another school to finish their degree. Now, students who graduate from one institution and then pursue a graduate degree, they are not considered a transfer student. This does, however, include students that finish maybe at a 2-year institution and then switch to a 4-year institution to finish that bachelor's degree. Also, this includes a student that started classes but didn't finish any kind of degree and wants to go ahead and complete that at a different university. This would be considered a transfer student as well. Now, comment below, is your student considering transferring? And if so, why? I'd love to see the reasons for your students transferring. I think it would help a lot of other families as well to understand what their logic is and maybe make them feel a little bit more secure in their child's decision when it comes to transferring colleges as well. So comment below and let us know what your student's reason is for wanting to transfer. Now, are transfer scholarships worth it? Of course they are. So anytime that we can get debt-free money that we don't have to pay back, that is worth our time. So the idea here is that the more money we can get from scholarships, the less money out of pocket, or the less money that we have to borrow and pay back in the long term. Now, I do want to say that when we're focusing on transfer scholarships, these typically are awarded by the institution themselves. However, there's a lot of money outside of the institution, private scholarships that your student can go for, whether they transfer or not. So if you are interested in learning where to find those scholarships that are legitimate with less competition, that are beyond what the universities offer, then make sure that you register for my free training on the 6 steps to securing scholarships. We're going to link to that in the description below. You can also go ahead and click the button somewhere on the screen that will lead you to that free training. Now, a few tips on applying for transfer scholarships for students. First and foremost, do not wait. As soon as your student decides that this school is not a fit for them or they want to transfer, then you want to start looking into this funding with them. They should look at the universities that they're applying to, but they can also look for private outside scholarships that are specific to transfer students as well. Now, when it comes to this, that might change their decision. Maybe they see that they'll be losing a lot of financial aid, or maybe if they're considering a few schools to transfer to, it might help them decide by seeing which one is going to offer them the most money. Now, another tip here is to pay attention to scholarship requirements and deadlines. This is very important, or your student might miss out on opportunities. For example, some schools, when a student applies and is admitted, whether transferring or not, they are automatically considered for any kind of merit scholarships or financial needs scholarships. However, some schools require a separate scholarship application. In fact, my undergraduate school did require a separate application to be considered for funding. For example, Illinois State automatically considers students for up to $3,000 as long as the funds are available, but they have to submit their transcripts by the deadline. Another example, Texas State offers both assured scholarships, which are automatically awarded based on your student's eligibility, and competitive scholarships, which is based on a separate scholarship application that they have to submit. So that is a perfect example where they actually have both opportunities for students. Now, a third tip for transfer scholarships is to get documents together. In fact, in the scholarship system, in our online course program, we give very specific tips on how to create these documents to increase our chances of winning. You can learn more about that course in the description below. But the idea here is that any kind of documents that we think we'll need for the scholarship applications, we want to start going ahead and collecting those to save time and to make sure that we have everything we need in order to meet those deadlines. Now, in addition to funds given through the university for transfer students, as well as private scholarships for transfer students, there is FAFSA. So FAFSA is accepted by most schools. However, you do want to make sure that that's something that your student school they're considering will accept, especially if they already receive stuff through FAFSA. But the idea here is you want to continue submitting FAFSA every single year. If your student is a transfer student, you should already be familiar with this. But if you decided not to submit FAFSA in the past, please, please, please submit it moving forward, because the only thing it can do is give your student more opportunities for funding. Now, your student will need to update their FAFSA to include the new school because they need that report to go to the correct school. If they don't, then they could run the risk of the financial aid department not getting any information and not giving any kind of money, which we of course don't want to happen. Similar to the initial admissions process, once the school receives that FAFSA information, they can work on putting together a financial aid package for your student as a transfer student as well. Now, again, whether they received money or not at their previous institution, it could be completely different at their new transfer school, so you do not want to miss this opportunity. And lastly, if your student borrowed student loans for their first year or for their first years at the first institution, by transferring, it could possibly trigger payments. So it might technically look like they left school because they're switching institutions. In that case, then your student would want to apply for a deferment based on still being enrolled. That way they don't have to start making those student loan payments upon transferring. So like I said, there are tons of scholarship opportunities even if your student is transferring. Now, we don't want to just focus on transfer students through the institution, although that's a huge opportunity, but we also want to consider outside scholarships as well as FAFSA funding, all the different types of funding that any type of student would focus on receiving. Even then, a transfer student can go for all of those different types of money as well. Now, again, I'm linking to our free training in the description below on how to find private scholarships, so make sure you don't miss that. And don't forget to click subscribe, because every single week I'm giving out a new strategy to work towards that debt-free degree. All right, again, my name is Jocelyn Pearson, founder of the Scholarship System. I will see you in the next video.